Joining me now to break this craziness down is Congressman Mark Wayne Mullin of Oklahoma. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Hey, good to have you. Good to be on, Carl.
So, why don't you take a listen to this, brainchild of a president we have. Listen to this.
I don't see any rationale why there should be such a weapon able to be purchased. It doesn't violate anybody's Second Amendment rights to deny that.
Okay. Shall not be infringed. Did I read that wrong? I mean, maybe I don't read too good.
Well, I mean, you just go to the Second Amendment as a whole, because if you go farther than that, he says the Second Amendment doesn't say that you can own a gun. I mean, that's what his statement was. He said that it doesn't say anybody can own a gun and any kind of gun or kind of weapon. And you go, well, the Second Amendment actually reads a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, which refers to now as more the National Guard, right? And then it goes on and says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Full stop. What it doesn't say is what kind of weapon you can or can't have, but his ignorance on the subject itself. He keeps saying, he has so many misinterpretations and missayings about weapons. And first of all, your opening statement about a 40-round mag for a Glock, I was like,
show me where you can buy that.
Yeah, I mean, I Googled it. I Googled it, and I thought, because I thought the same thing. Is this a novelty weapon? And so I Googled. I can't even find one. I mean, there's not even one to be able to buy at a novelty store. I mean, unless it was an airsoft gun. I mean, they put a lot of BBs in that.
It was crazy to me. But the other thing too is like, what you pointed out a great point in the Second Amendment. It's well-regulated militia, comma, which is also the right of the people, comma. Like all separate things, they're individual rights. We have a right to a militia, we have a right to bear arms, and we have a right for that to not be infringed. And I somewhere along the way, look, the AR-15, which he refers to all the time as a weapon of war, and this terrible, no good, bad, scary black rifle. There's more of them than any other gun on the market. There's like two AR-15s for every Ford F-150 on the road right now, world's most popular pickup truck. These are staggering statistics, yet they're used in very, very little of the actual crime out there. Most of it's just pistols. So why in the world do they make these talking points so profoundly ignorant to facts?
Because they talk to their base. You know, I was sitting on a plane with a guy one time. I sat on a plane, and the guy we're obviously from different areas of the world. And he started talking about where I was from in Oklahoma. He says, you guys have a lot of weapons there. And we went into a discussion about cars and about weapons. And I just started talking to him and breaking down what an AR is. And I said, it's no different than the 243 rifle that my son hunts with. That's a bolt action. It's just got a different stock on it. It fires at the same exact rate. They're semi-automatic weapons. There's no different than any other semi-automatic weapon. It just dresses up a little different. So they're not saying ban 243 semi-automatic weapons that we have our 13, 14-year-olds out hunting deer with. They're talking about the AR because it looks scary. It's just their ignorance on the subject. And let's take some time to educate people, Mr. President. If you're going to go out there and you're going to say these things that are absolutely ignorant in itself, educate yourself before you go out and talk about the subject. Because it's honestly, it's sad. And people get mad when you call in. I mean, literally, the left gets mad when you start calling in if this guy is competent. But yet they did that to Trump all the time. It was fine.
Yeah,
but when you start talking about this president's competent, it's hands off. You can't say that.
Well, it went on to say, look at this, watch this.
The answer is not to defund the police. It's to give you the tools, the training, the funding, to be partners, to be protectors.
You know what's interesting, Congressman, is I've done a lot of research on this. And, the police, when seconds count, cops are minutes away. And I love our men and women in blue. However, police are not the only answer here, but defunding them certainly wasn't the answer because it just made everything to where we are now. But, Texas, you look at some of the major cities in Texas, crime has actually gone down just after they passed this little thing called constitutional carry. You think there's a coincidence there?
Yeah, Oklahoma's the same way. We had the same thing happen with Oklahoma, too. And we're not seeing anybody running doing smash and grabs in our CVSs. in our Walgreens and our jewelry stores and at our malls, it's not happening because they know there's going to be people there because we have an open carry policy. In fact, you'll probably see somebody walking through there with it on their hip.
Right.
And guess what? Gun violence hasn't increased, it went down. And by the way, what's also went down is when you start talking about what happens most, how most murders happen inside the United States, it doesn't happen with an actual weapon. It actually happens with our hands right here. It happens with our body. That over 141,000 deaths were caused in 2021 by these right here. Not anything strapped to our side. But what it doesn't go on is how many deaths that were going to be happening with these hands were prevented because someone was carrying a weapon.
Well, that's interesting. You know, hammers killed twice as many people as AR-15s last year. So, I mean, those dangerous hammers, especially if they're spray painted black, we got to really watch out for them. Now, this administration, they love talking about ghost guns. Listen to this.
Ghost guns are the guns everyone in this room knows that can be purchased in parts, assembled at home, no serial number, and can't be traced. And they're as deadly as any other weapon out there. But the fact is, they are out there.
Ghost guns. Okay, so here's the deal. How about they just come up with a new law that criminals will actually abide by? Because, like, no legal law-abiding citizens like me really make an effort to abide by the law in every factor.
Absolutely.
It's the criminals, right?
Right, absolutely. And you're not going to be able to make laws that the criminals are going to follow. They're criminals to begin with.
Yeah.
And you know, just like you said, you try to take every effort you can to follow the laws and the rules. Well, in Oklahoma, it's an open carry state, but I went ahead and got my concealed carry permit because I want to be able to carry in other states whenever I'm traveling. Mm-hmm. And so when you start talking about it, we are going to follow the law, and that's why we carry the guns too, to enforce the law when someone's trying to attack us on it. Yeah. And so when you start talking about ghost guns and about, you know, being tough on crime, how about you just get away from the subject of saying that, you know, criminalizing the police officers for doing their jobs, taking away the protections to where they can't be sued for doing their jobs? Yeah. How about you just go and show your support, but don't run your mouth and say it, but actually do it. Like have your DOJ actually go through and prosecute these people and quit playing politics with criminals.
100%. Well, Congressman Markwayne Mullin, I am anxiously awaiting a new bill that you're going to put on the floor that makes murder more illegaler. So, we appreciate you being here, sir.
All about. Let's